Hello and welcome back to another First Impressions video brought to you by MMO Play. Today we're taking a look at Defiance. It is a new pay-to-play MMORPG. That means you gotta pay up front for it, but no monthly sub after that. So kind of the Guild Wars 2 style of structure. There are microtransactions. Most of them appear to be either convenient or there's some hats. So we're gonna go TF2-ish. There is the ability to get packs which have random items, although it doesn't seem like the items in this game are as important so far, at least at lower tiers. So we'll get a little bit into it. I'm trying to show off a little bit of the story. This show series, actually, getting a little ahead of myself, is going to go along with a show on ScyFy, something that I'm planning to take a look at soon. I've heard some good things about the 15-minute preview. That's for the pilot. It's going to be available in 2 weeks. We'll take a look and see if this is an actual good-looking game or if it's kind of a gimmick. I've heard mixed reviews, and personally, I think the game is stable. The mechanics seem to be working, and it seems to be promising. If you like third-person shooters, and if you like near future and post-apocalyptic style, that one always gets me tongue-tied. You might like this game. It also does not have a true level system. So, I'm just going to show a little bit of the story, not much. People. This intro is about 10 minutes.
Gate. We'll be on site in less than 20. So you got 10 to secure the rest of that.
One of the things that you can expect to see in this game is the fact that the major events that happen in the show will be shown in the game. And major events from the game might appear in the show, so you do some... participate in some crazy raid, maybe your character's name might be mentioned.
So that's what I want you to do.
You probably won't get a character mentioned if you have some silly name like, I pwned you!
You better get your men in line, Captain Grant. I want my
legitimate sounding names for
storage.
once.
My Ark Hunters and I depart
One
as
thing
soon
I
as
will
we
warn
land.
you is the tutorial mission is laughably easy. I probably would not judge the game based on that. In fact, just kind of get through it and get into the game. The AI in that is just awful. It's much better in the game itself. The tutorial only lasts a few minutes, other than the cinematics and the story.
And those orders are to keep
you safe while you locate you're working for dude in the glasses.
Alleged
and you're gonna crash.
There is no alleged, Captain. Do you see this?
That voice sounds familiar. I don't know what voice actor is. He actually reminded me a little bit of Garrett from DS9.
I will repair this world.
I know it's not.
And
but you're going to try to find him, and there's a couple of missions going on. The world is an interesting world. Aliens invaded, but some of them decided that they didn't like what's going on, so they tried to help. And there's this battle of Defiance that happened. I don't know too much about it. We're going to look more into the lore next video. We're actually going to do 2 videos on this. One focusing on intro, basic mechanics, another one on a little bit more on lore, world, maybe if I... take a look at how it possibly could tie into the show, and some competitive play. There's some PvP elements to it. This does not seem to be a cover-based shooter, so you don't have a cover system like you do in your Mass Effects. For the most part, the graphics, I mean, they're going to be lower end. It's an MMO. They got to be able to deal with dozens, if not hundreds of players on the screen. You're not going to have a Crysis 3 level of graphics. It looks pretty decent. And this is made by Trian, which means you can expect a pretty rock-solid launch. And mechanics might not be brand spanking new. It's probably not going to be all that innovative. But they're going to take a few things and kind of put their own twist on it. And it'll probably work well. It's just a matter of, do you like this style of gameplay or something a little bit different? I definitely would argue it's not innovative, but I don't think MMOs need to be innovative. I think they just need to have some interesting gameplay and make it work. And they also need to realize that people will get to the quote-unquote endgame faster than they think they will. You can see there are a few different options for characters. There's not traditional classes like there are in other MMOs. There's also not traditional levels. In fact, let's get into the game itself and skip the rest of the tutorial and the intro. Alright, here we go. We're back in-game.
I'm picking up a signal from a crashed mobile.
So one of the things you're going to hear is Ego. And this is the intro a little bit. Ego is kind of this little computerized system that follows you around and gives you hints. Which reminds me a little bit of Angel from Borderlands 2, or I guess... was it Deep Space, or the AI for that too. So she reminds me a little bit of that. It is a keyboard-enabled game. I'm playing on mouse keyboard, WASD movement. You hold E to interact with items. F is your melee. V will bring your weapon up, or your mount up, your bike, which we'll see in a little bit. And this is a tutorial, like I said, the AI is not very smart. It's designed to just teach you mechanics, not designed to challenge you. This is not reflective of a little later in the game. And you have left click for shoot, right click for zoom. 1 is your active ability, which we'll see that pretty quickly.
Shotguns are perfect for close quarters combat.
You also have 2 weapons. You can swap between weapons by scrolling on the mouse wheel. G for your grenade.
Particular weapon types work better for specific situations.
I will say the interface is... There's 2 big problems I have. The interface is clunky. And that's... You gotta pull this up by hitting escape and then go through here and find what you're looking for. In fact, getting out of the game takes a little bit of effort. You gotta hit escape, then hold space, and then hit the exit button. It's kind of hard to find. Also, they're... seem to make it so that communication was a little bit less prevalent. There's not actually a... In the main game, there isn't a chat system, at least that I've seen, that you can make by default. You can pull up the social aspect of the game in the menu, but it kind of makes sense in a post-apocalyptic world. There's going to be less communication with all the other Ark Hunters. You can crouch. I'm not sure how effective it is because the AI here is pretty simplistic. This is, again, the tutorial. It's not the full game. But it seems to take away a little bit of the community. I don't know if it's something that's going to hurt them in the long run or not, but I did want to mention, after a few hours of playing, I did notice that I didn't feel tied to other players nearby because I couldn't chat with them or see what they were saying. It did kind of hurt a little bit. That said, there is a PQ type system, public questing, that you saw in games like Guild Wars 2, Warhammer Online, which does have cooperative, just random events that'll take place. Alright, we're going to take a look at the different abilities.
We'll try cloak. While using cloak, you are completely invisible.
So when you hit 1, I come over here and I go cloak. It's got a bit of a cooldown. There's actually passive abilities called perks that we can take a look at too later, which will affect these. But cloak is stealth, and since there's no classes, you don't have to worry about... Oh, I'm a assassin, I'll always want to use my cloak, or I'm a engineer, I'm never going to have cloak. It's that's not how the game works. It's actually a lot more like Rift, kind of, where you can tailor yourself to do different things. In Rift, a mage could be a healer, a mage could definitely be a DPSer. A warrior could be a DPSer or a tank, Certain classes could just fulfill multiple roles depending on how they spec themselves.
Blur will allow us to move at extreme speeds and
so you can only have one active ability, and it's your one button that activates it. It's got a bit of a cooldown. Thankfully, my ego over here is reciting it for me. I'm going to end up going up with Blur, partially because I want to go with Shotgun, and I think Shotgun tends to be one of those weapons that you should be in someone's face for, so Blur let me get there. Another option, I guess, could be I could go stealth, get in someone's face, blur, and just smack them real hard. All these abilities around it are your perks. You can see there's the entire tree. It's kind of like Path of Exile, where you have access to the entire tree and you can have a different starting location. Like I can start right there, and then from that I can kind of move around. Instead of having a level system, you have a rating system. As you play through the game, your rating will go up, and which will unlock new gear, and it'll also unlock new abilities for skills, too. So it's not a traditional level system, but there is a progression to the game. One nice thing about not having levels is you're not going to have to worry about bolstering, or you're not going to have to worry about all kinds of fun stuff like that. Or Dark Age of Camelot, one of the things they had in that game was a hit rating based on level. So if a monster was much higher level than you just couldn't hit them. None of that in this game because there are no true levels. There's a rating system which gives you access to newer weapons. It will mean probably higher damage, but for the most part, it's better skills. And this is kind of how the missions work. You will wander around, you'll see an event going on, you'll just go and take part in it. It's a lot like the Guild Wars 2 style. Now, one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't seem to have a progression where if you complete a certain mission, it'll chain into something different and just keep going from there. And this is the difficulty about you'd expect for trash mobs. The guys that... For my shotty, I can 3-shot them. Maybe 1 if I get them right in the head in close range. Then there's the elite style guys that are quite a bit harder, but you can still solo. There's the bosses that you can solo, but you're going to need to take advantage of some terrain, some kiting, let your shields recharge. I have not run into an area where I feel like I had to group, other than a couple of public quests that looked like the giant nodes from Rift. But for the most part, I feel like I could solo anything I wanted to, and all my quests and everything like that. That isn't to say that grouping or being near people doesn't help. I don't actually see if there... I didn't check to see if there was an ability to actually create a group. I also have not seen anything that makes me think that there is a trinity in this game, where healer, tank, DPS. Obviously there are characters that are going to tank better than others, but I haven't seen a healing style ability yet. You can self-res in combat once, it's on a pretty long cooldown though, so don't plan to keep doing it over and over again. Look at him trying to get in there, I thought he was a player. Another thing is, this seems to be the fixed perspective. I don't think you can zoom out. I've tried scroll wheel a few times. I've tried panning, that doesn't seem to happen. So if you don't like this angle for third person, you might have an issue with this game. Personally, I like it zoomed out a little bit more. This looks kind of like Witcher 1's over-the-shoulder view, which is not my personal favorite. And you would think I just died there because I'm terrible, but I am terrible, but I died because the story said I had to, I believe. She's in the intro. She seems like she's going to be a pretty important character. I don't want to get into it because I don't really want to offer spoilers, just in case we go in some more detail in the next video.
Thanks. You have an ego implant, don't you? That's amazing. First time I've ever seen one in action. You know, I think we're gonna make one hell of a team. A little backup can take you a long way in this crazy place.
And these are the mounts, I guess you call them. These are the vehicles in this game.
I'm sure we'll be in contact.
You get one pretty quick.
Arc Hunter.
There's also more you could buy with microtransactions, or probably can get access to them in-game later. So that's it for the intro. After that, and then you're in the real world. You can see we're in Mount Tam. The way the game works is there are two cities. There is the city that the ScyFy series takes place in, and then the game. They're actually in two different areas. So you're not going to really bump into characters from the ScyFy series, sorry, and they're not going to bump into your character. It's more likely if something really big happens and it maybe has some... it changes the outcome of the game a little bit, then it might pop up. Or if something big, spoiler, nasty happens in the TV series, it might show up in the game. The possible interactions between the two are one of the main reasons why this is one of our more anticipated games of the year. Overall, the style of the world looks pretty good. It's not completely destroyed like a Fallout-style game, but you can tell we're not too happy here on Earth right now. And here's the perk system. You do have to pick a skill, and they kind of require... The farther you get away from a skill, the more you need rating for. So I'm going to get one... I got two basic skills I'm going to work on. I have one that when my shield breaks, I get run speed, so I can get the heck out. And another that when someone is stumbled, knocked back, or knocked down, I do extra damage. You know, I'll go up and smack him with my melee weapon and then shoot him with the shotgun. So now that you go ahead and you pick your skill, you have to equip it, which I didn't do there. One of the things I was talking about, the interface is a little bit weird. Oh, there's the quest. Sometimes you have to double-click on an item, sometimes you have to single-click, sometimes you have to right-click. It's just not quite uniform. It makes it a little hard to learn the system. So you can see I'm picking on a perk. I only have one perk right now. You saw more were unlocked later at higher whatever. But right there, and then I can click it, and you actually have to equip it. It's near the bottom left of the screen. So I'm going to skip a little forward. I actually got kind of confused. I'm like, why isn't it working? There's the headgear. That's what makes you think of TF2. You can see your buffs if you are in a clan or a group. So there is a group There is a group system, and then solo. These are XP buffs, so you get extra XP. Or I can get extra script, or I can get extra reputation, so all kinds of different... What do you want to focus on? Just mechanics that can be involved in the game when they're not having to base it on levels. It gives them a little bit more freedom to try new things. Also, the map. Do you have gamer ADD? You know, you just kind of wander around and go, hey, I should do this. This game's going to drive you nuts, especially if you're a completionist. The public quest style system means that quests will just pop up and you'll do them, and then you'll see another one nearby and you'll do them, and suddenly, wait a minute, I'm way off of course of where I was going.
This evac seat is empty. I hope whoever was in there.
So if you got gamer ADD and if you're a completionist, doesn't mean it's a bad game, but it means this game's going to drive you absolutely up the wall. You'll hit M and you'll see all kinds of just missions available. These little guys are just trash. They're easy to kill. There are bigger ones that, if you take a hit from them, they'll probably kill you. Also, there is a dodge system. Hit Alt by default to dodge. I'm actually going to rebind that to my mouse because that's hard to hit while trying to move. There is no fall damage. I did confirm that multiple times because I just kept waiting for it. I haven't checked to see if you're immune during cutscenes. That would be kind of important. She reminds me a little bit of the second character in the new DMC. Obviously the form where you're not on Earth, where you're in Limbo or wherever. But Dante's friend, she kind of looks like that. For the most part right now, I'm basically relying on my shotgun. I'm kind of relying on close combat. I'm not basing my character around melee, although it looks like you can do that if you choose to.
No.
Another thing is you can not only pick new perks, you can also level them up. You can put up to 3 points into them, or 5, I think, into your active skill.
I'm receiving several
But there are prereqs of your rating, which is kind of your progression system. So I can't just go ahead and max out my dash ability right off the bat. You can see the indicators right here, nice and easy. Got a distance, and they're on the mini-map, and everything like that. You can also put waypoints in the mini-map. Hit M, bring up your map, right-click. That'll do it for you.
He's the only one with the knowledge to unlock the secrets of the Art Core.
Just kind of moving on forward. This is sprint. You do not have to hold the shift to sprint. Thankfully, just tap it once and you keep sprinting. There is no endurance bar, so you keep on going at this speed. But on your vehicle, you do need to hold shift to hit the afterburners.
My DNA
so that might be another good one to rebind if you don't have StarCraft 2 fingers, where you can just have the ultimate in agility and speed. Lots of players. This was launch day, so there's not too many monsters in this area. This is the ship that we're on in the beginning, little intro area. It kind of went down. Mr. Von Bach sounds like an evil bad guy. He needs a bald cat that he can be petting too.
If you're the worst, we may have lost everyone.
Mostly most of the Arc Hunters are dead. So you keep mentioning Arc Hunters. What are they? Well, they're not in the military. There's plenty of mutants and aliens around, but the invasion appears to be kind of at an end. It seems like the world's about as bad as it's going to get, but it doesn't seem like the invasion's going to finish off the humans, thankfully. But there's plenty of alien tech scattered all over the place. It's these Arc. And the Arc Hunters just go ahead and look for these resources and use them to build artifacts or other high technology.
Hey, Arc Hunter. Did you get that debuff message? Meet me at the rally point.
It does something you can only currently have one main active quest available at a time, so if you go around grabbing multiple quests, you might have to get your old ones again. I didn't see a quest journal that indicates to me that there is multiple at a time. Another thing I might mention is the gunplay does not seem to be the strong suit of the game. The shotgun, to me, does not feel like a shotgun. It feels like a close range, any other sort of assault weapon almost, where you kind of... There doesn't seem to be much in the way of kick to it. It could be the weapon I have. Oh, here we go. We're at a store. You can see there's items you can buy. There's hats. Hats for the bats. Keeps bats warm. Hey, I like Major League. You can also sell for scrip. Instead of scrip, you can also salvage items for currency. Well, for craftable stuff too, but that's just one of the two options. For the most part, to get anything decent, you're going to need both of them.
I want to know why E-Rep's here. Let's find the man in charge.
For the NPCs and
the new freedom has gone down.
cinematics and all that, you'll notice when you go throughout the game that
copy?
the characters actually
Captain
move.
Grant,
That means
sir.
they're temporarily visible. This character, she's going to be in here and sitting in this little bunker. I come back later and then on this quest, she's actually not there. She had moved somewhere else. So they do a good job of making sure, making you feel like you're actually having an effect on the world. It's kind of a cool concept. Something that a lot of games seem to forget
Name's Cass.
is if the NPCs in every single location, it doesn't feel like you've actually done anything. So it's a small thing, but hey, give them credit for going and thinking to do that.
Sir, we have at least 200.
So let's go and look at some of the other
nearly twice that injured.
combat in this game. Alright, well, every Ark Hunter needs a ride. I'll tell you one thing. This thing's a little bit hard to steer. I've never been all that good at racing sims, which we've seen in previous videos. And it does not like going uphill. You have to be pretty much hitting the afterburners to take any sort of terrain at all. Well, stairs, that is. Hills are okay. In other words, it probably has a pretty decent graphics engine behind it. I'm sure a little guy like this isn't going to be all that... No, it's all-terrain vehicle, pretty much. It probably should be able to handle some stuff.
We need to take them out.
You get a quest here. You can see the yellow marks of the quest. Purple are players. White are... They seem to be points of interest of some kind. There's also no collision detection, so none of that worrying about. This is actually not my quest here. This is just something that's happening. I'm like, hey, cool. You can see it's below me. And this is what I was talking about. The shotgun doesn't feel like a shotgun, but that's what it is. It also has 15 rounds in the magazine. So it feels like it's kind of semi-automatic even.
The rigged the bridge supports with explosives.
So I better get down there and deal with the
We need to cross that bridge
explosives.
to reach the clinic. We need to stop the mutants before they destroy it.
Most of the bad guys are mutants. They think they're still fighting for the Earth military, actually. Come on, let me jump! Ah! And look at this, you can actually swim in this game. Can't remember which game MMO I played recently where swimming actually wasn't available.
Target neutralized.
Now, with a lot of players here, that means if there are monsters down here, they're cleared out. I wonder if there normally are a bunch just in this area. Respawns in this game, by the way, they're fast. I wonder if they're balanced because how many players are in the area, kind of like Burning Crusade. Remember Hellfire Peninsula? They made it so that the more players, the faster they respawn to kind of deal with the influx of players in one area at one time. So I kind of wonder if they did that with this too, and that's why things are respawning so quickly. Also, you can jump high, but you can't jump that high. I gotta look for a ladder to get out of here. So let's go ahead and wander around to the point where I actually find a mission that's not an actual quest. Just something I'm wandering around going, hey, what's that? Alright, here's a pretty good example coming up right now. So I'm going towards something and I see this. This is a challenge. Kind of like, I guess, DCUO almost. You'll just see these challenges and you can get a gold, silver, or bronze rating, and when you get them, you get some sort of reward. In this case, it's a race. Oh no, I'm terrible at racing sims. This is before I learned that you have afterburners too. So basically the way you have to go through all the rings, I think you can even just touch the side of the rings. And if you miss one, well, good luck with that. So you gotta turn around, and these vehicles don't like to turn around too much. Now, to get a great score, instead of going, hey, I just did it. Like there, I just touched the ring, but I still got credit. You can tell when you don't go through because it'll stay red. But to get a really good speed, you're going to need to hit shift and hold it down and use it up. It goes away in a few seconds, but you go really fast. In fact, I think the highest speed was about 10 seconds faster than me. There, that one even counted. And there you go. You can see I got some rewards, I got some crafting resources, I got some script, and some XP. XP dart bar at the bottom is when I get a new perk ego point. Ego point, that's it! So basically I was just going here and going to do his quest, and all of a sudden I found that challenge to do. And while I was wandering around, I also found this to do, too. So there's tons of things you can keep doing. This is actually not part of my main quest I was working on. Like I said, it seems like right now, with the weapon I have, 3-shotting seems to be pretty normal. So this guy's trying to get behind cover, so the AI actually does try to get behind cover. I saw another video reviewing it and talking about how weak the AI was, and yeah, it really is to get in the intro. There's my special move. You see I'm sprinting right now. It also allows me to do full damage, even on shields. So it's probably really good in PvP with people that have shields, too. It's only I got a couple of them. The other reason I don't like the shotgun feels too shotgun-like, you can see the range on it is not awful. It does have a drop-off, but it's not terrible. If you do get a headshot, you do extra damage, you also get extra XP for getting a critical kill. It's not very forgiving, though. Now that one I could have swore I should have hit. Oh, grenade! These guys don't have many hit points, but they can hurt. Okay, those are critical kills. I got 18 XP for that one instead of the usual 15. And that was just a random mission, just wandering around going, hey, cool. And these little reload depots give you extra ammo. I have not run out of ammunition once yet, but that probably becomes more of an issue if you use a faster weapon. I mean, right now I'm using a shotgun and a sniper rifle, so it's not like I'm using an automatic weapon where I'd have to be all Rambo with just magazines and tons of shots all around my body if I were trying to keep going. And I don't seem to have like a knife, but I do have my I have to smack it with my gun. And there's the afterburner. And finally making way towards my quest. Like I said, this game, if you have gamer ADD, you're gonna have issues. If you feel like you have to complete everything, you're gonna get a little annoyed. Or go, cool, I constantly have something new to do. One of my first experiences in MMOs was Dark Age of Camelot, which was very grindy. You'd sit in a spot and you'd grind it out for a long time. That was before quests became common. You can see I did level up, so I'm going to go and skill up here. I can pick one of my other skills, but I only have one slot right now, so there's not much point in getting multiple skills, or passives. These are perks, I like to call them passives. Instead, what I'm going to do is... where is it? Intimidation, that's what I want. So if I push them, then I can hit them harder. In fact, if you get tier 3, it's 75%. And you can usually get off 1, maybe 2 bullets while they're kind of staggering after a push. There's some goals. It's achievements for those of us that love achievements. Still gotta get that perk equipped. Still in a little trouble figuring that one out.
Thanks.
And how about larger scale content? So let's just kind of go around here a little bit. Going to find something on the map called Mutant Mayhem. You might see that little red spot towards the left. I'm thinking, what's that? And I'm going towards it quickly as I can. This is some group content. This is a public quest. That means everyone just kind of comes in and does their thing. Without having a trinity to worry about, it does seem like you're basically rewarded for DPS, for doing damage in the game. But you can see there are a ton of people here. It's actually a little bit hard to figure out who's friend and foe. I probably set it so foe automatically has the nameplates on so I can see them. These are elites, obviously they're taking a little bit longer. It also makes me wonder if the number of players nearby affects how strong these guys are. So with me kind of having my melee spec, I'm trying to stay people sprint in their grid. The goal of this one is to sit there and see that crystal over there, just shoot it until it breaks. You can break the thing. But we're also getting respawns from these areas right here. The helicopter's dropping off guys are shooting at us. It's getting chaotic. You can see it gets all red and kind of bloody when your shields are down, so you're taking actual hits to your body. Normally your shield takes it for you. Shields do regen in combat if you're not getting hit for a while. Health? No. You gotta wait for health. Thankfully, I have a weapon here that's got a lot of shots and reloads fairly fast. Damage is lower than other weapons, so it's not bad. And for the public quest, unlike a lot of games where, like, when Warhammer Online first came out, it seemed like your cooperation participation was kind of randomly determined. In this game, it's pretty much based on damage, because there's no Trinity to worry about. May as well. So there you go, there's the public quest. There's a big old raid-style fight. It's cleared off now, and there is clear, and we got all the rewards. Everyone's getting in their cars. That was a pre-order bonus. I didn't get one. But there is a first look at Defiance. If you're a fan of third-person shooters, or if you think you might like the ScyFy series, you might like the game. It's got some nice ideas. The gameplay itself does not seem all that much different from other games that are out there. It doesn't mean it's bad. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single game. So far, for the most part, I would say if you haven't bought it yet, maybe keep an eye out for the week or two first before making your decision. Looks promising, but it's tough to say for $60 was something you would keep playing beyond. Thankfully, no subscription, so you don't have to worry about paying $15 a month. So if you're a fan of shooters and you liked the system that Guild Wars 2 did for building, you might like this game. Check out more from us, and keep an eye on the game. It's available on most digital distributors. It's from Treon. Kind of a good sign to me. I kind of at least like their quality control. And another challenge here. You want to do the challenge? Check out the game for yourself. Thanks, and see you guys next time.